Hi, everybody. So I just want to go over some of the strategic guide for success. I've had some questions about this and also some last minute questions that came in about the TED Talk scripts. So we'll try to get out ahead of the questions for the strategic guide for success. This is all in the assignment descriptions. So if you need some clarification, you can always go back to the assignment description, which is attached to the strategic guide assignment in module 3. But we'll go over it because sometimes video is a little bit easier. Okay, so if you go on UV Learns under this modules link, you're going to see these interview questions posted. So what you're going to do is you're going to reach out to 2 people in the field that you're interested in. So that could be sort of a general, broad. If you're interested in a medical field, it might be, a physical therapist and a nurse practitioner. If you're interested in communication, that might be someone in marketing and someone in PR. Whatever it is, you are going to reach out to these 2 individuals, and you're going to ask the following questions. So the first thing you're going to do is ask the person's name, unless you know them. Obviously, if it's a relative, you don't need to ask for the person's name, but get the correct spelling of the person's name. Otherwise, you're also going to ask about their occupation and their specific job title, their contact information, phone or email. I've never had to follow up with anyone to make sure that they were actually interviewed. But you never know. So just get a phone or an email address, which is good practice anyway, as you saw from the informational interviewing video. You want to know what college they went to and what major they had while they were in college. And then you're going to ask them these questions. So the first one, what core skill sets, knowledge, or experiences do you feel will best prepare a current college student interested in pursuing work in your field? And you can ask some follow-up questions to this. So if they say, students should really take a class in marketing, you can ask, well, why do you say that? Or what about that marketing class do you think will prepare students? Then you're going to ask, if you were in a position to design a college program from the ground up, specifically to prepare students to enter your field, what would you ensure was included? So specific training, course content, experiences, etc. And again, you can ask some follow-up questions. You don't have to stick strictly to these 4 questions. You can ask, why would you say that specific training? Or, what would that course look like? Or how many of those experiences? So how many internships do you think someone should have? 3, you're going to ask, were there specific experiences, courses, or content that you received in college that did help you succeed in your career? So what did you find really helpful? And you can ask expanding questions on that as well. So if they say, I studied abroad, well, how did that help you succeed in your career? And then finally, are there specific experiences, training, and content that you wish you received in college that you think could have helped further your career? So while you're asking these questions, ideally you're going to be in person. If you're in person, you're going to have a physical pad of paper and a pen, something that looks like this, and you're going to write down their answers to the best of your ability. If you don't capture every single word, that's okay. But to the best of your ability, you want to try to capture these people's answers. If you're doing this over the phone, you can either type on your laptop or you can write down with pen and paper. And if you're doing this via email, which please check with me if you're going to do this via email, we just have to talk about how to send some follow-up emails if you have any follow-up questions. Again, you can obviously just copy and paste from what they respond to because that'll be your transcription. So if you're writing it down on pen and paper, if you're doing these in person or if you're doing these over the phone, what are you going to do next? So you've done your interviews. Great. Good job. You've done 2 interviews with 2 different people. So what are you going to do next? You're going to go into Google Classroom. So you should see this interview strategic guide for success here in Google Classroom. There's a couple documents here. So there's a sample email to contact interviewees. So if you haven't contacted anybody to interview yet, please do so ASAP. As you can see, these are due January 20th, so you are running out of time. So for each of your interviews, you're going to open up one of these documents that says copy of interview transcription, and you're going to write out so the person's name, my name here. You're going to write out your answers. So class in blah, 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 whatever it is. You're going to write out your answers here based on your transcriptions that you've been taking while you did your interviews. Okay. So you're going to do 2 of these. You're going to do 1 for your first interview, and then you're going to open up the second document, copy of interview transcription 2, and you're going to do the same thing, but for your second interview. So you're going to write out all the answers to the questions. And then there's a third piece of this as well. So you're also going to write me a short document called interview takeaways. So this should be in full sentences and paragraphs. This should be grammatically correct. Feel free to use Grammarly. There's a link to Grammarly in the module section. You're going to summarize what you learned through your interviews and what this experience meant to you. So what were the most important things that you found in your interviews? Or what did you find interesting? Or what did you find surprising? Or what did you maybe not like that you heard? Maybe you heard that you should be doing more networking and you really hate networking. And you're also going to talk about how this experience felt. Were you uncomfortable interviewing these people? Did you find it really useful? Did you find it not useful? Did you already know all of that information, or did you learn a lot? So you're just going to reflect on what you learned in these interviews. So this should be really no more than 1 page, double spaced, so it's relatively short, but you're going to do it in complete sentences, full paragraphs. You're going to summarize what you got out of these interviews. So at the end, you should be handing in the Google Classroom 3 documents to me: copy of interview transcription 1, copy of interview transcription 2, and then your interview takeaways. Okay? I will post another video soon about how we're going to merge these into one large group document, but hopefully this answers some of your questions for the interviews. I look forward to seeing who you interviewed and how it went. And as always, feel free to reach out with any questions.